Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. It's always a quiet comfort to have you here again. Somewhere between thought and dream, between curiosity and calm. This is the space where your mind can wander freely, without pressure, without expectation. Tonight, we're drifting far beyond the boundaries of our world, into the vast stillness of space, to explore a mystery that has fascinated astronomers and dreamers alike, the interstellar traveler known as 3I Atlas. You might remember other names whispered in cosmic conversations, like Oumuamua, that long, cigar-shaped visitor from another star. It glided through our solar system, silent and unknown, stirring questions about what lies beyond our understanding. And now, years later, another traveler has appeared, 3I Atlas. But what makes this object so intriguing is not only its path through space, it's the question that lingers in every observer's mind. Could it be something more than just a rock or ice? Could it be an alien mothership? Before we begin, I want you to find a comfortable position. Loosen your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and let your eyes soften. You don't need to stay awake for this story. You don't need to remember the details or analyze the science. Just allow the rhythm of my voice, the gentle pacing of each idea, to lull you into a slower state of mind. Let each word drift through you like starlight filtering through a window. You're safe, you're home, and right now, there's nothing you need to do but breathe. Wherever you are, maybe in your bedroom, curled under soft blankets, or perhaps listening from halfway across the world, I'd love to know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. Because there's something comforting in knowing that, somewhere out there, others are listening to other curious souls, all drifting together into this shared night of wonder. You might notice the faint hum of the world around you, maybe the sound of your own breathing or the quiet pulse of your heart. And as these sounds blend softly into the background, you'll find yourself becoming part of something larger, a slow, cosmic rhythm that has always been there. The rhythm of stars being born, of galaxies turning, of comets gliding silently across the dark sea of space. In the next few hours, we'll travel through both science and imagination. We'll explore what astronomers have discovered about 3I Atlas, what it could tell us about the origin of life, and what its mysterious behavior might mean. But we'll also let ourselves wonder, gently and playfully, about the possibility that something intelligent might be looking back, watching, traveling, exploring, just as we are. So if your mind begins to wander, that's perfectly fine. If your thoughts drift into dreams, that's exactly what's meant to happen. You're free to let go, to float between reality and imagination. Because in this space, curiosity is a lullaby, and knowledge is simply another way to dream. Now, take one more deep breath in, and let it go slowly, like a comet passing through the quiet night. Feel your body sinking just a little deeper into rest, your heartbeat slowing, your mind opening. The stars are waiting, and our journey into the mystery of 3I Atlas begins now. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to witness something from another world drift silently through our solar system? To look up at the night sky and know that, somewhere up there, a visitor from beyond our star is passing by, unannounced and unexplained. We've all felt that quiet pull of curiosity, that deep inner voice that whispers, what else might be out there? And sometimes, the universe answers, not with thunder or spectacle, but with a faint streak of light crossing the heavens. That's how the mystery of 3I Atlas began, an object so distant, so strange, that it seemed to arrive not just from another corner of space, but perhaps from another story altogether. Picture yourself standing beneath a vast night sky. The world around you is quiet, wrapped in the cool hush of twilight. A soft wind moves through the trees, the ground steady beneath your feet, above you. Countless stars shimmer like fragments of ancient dreams, each one a sun, each one with its own possible worlds. Far beyond them, unseen by the naked eye, something moves, a small, icy traveler gliding through the black ocean of space. It doesn't belong to our solar system. It isn't bound by our sun's gravity. It's just passing through, carrying secrets from regions of the galaxy we've never touched. That traveler is known to scientists as 3I Atlas, and tonight we'll drift along beside it, gently unraveling its story. 3I Atlas is part of a very rare family of cosmic visitors called interstellar objects. These are not asteroids or comets that orbit our sun like the familiar ones we've studied for centuries. They come from outside, from other star systems entirely. Imagine that for a moment, a chunk of rock and ice, perhaps older than our planet, launched millions or even billions of years ago from a distant system. Maybe from the aftermath of a supernova. Maybe from the slow unraveling of another world's gravity. Traveling alone through interstellar space, untouched, unseen, until, by pure cosmic coincidence, it crosses paths with us. When astronomers first spotted 3I Atlas, it was faint, a small, moving point of light captured by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS, hence its name. They noticed it wasn't following the curved, looping paths typical of comets that belong to our sun's family. Its trajectory was hyperbolic, a wide open arc that meant it was not orbiting at all, but passing through. That single detail changed everything. Because objects on hyperbolic paths don't come back. They visit once and are gone forever. And that meant 3I Atlas was a true interstellar traveler, the third of its kind ever detected, following in the wake of Oumuamua and 2I Borisov. Scientists turned their telescopes toward it, hungry for data. They measured its brightness, its color, its movement, its tail. Early reports suggested it had the glowing halo of a comet, that faint, misty shimmer made of vaporized ice and dust. But then something strange began to appear. Its brightness fluctuated more than expected. Its shape seemed inconsistent. Some observations hinted that it might be fragmenting, breaking apart, and yet others speculated that the strange changes might not be purely natural. Could it be, some wondered quietly, that 3I Atlas was more than just ice and dust? Could it be a vessel, not an asteroid, but a structure, thin, reflective, metallic perhaps? Could it be something designed, not born? The idea wasn't entirely new when Oumuamua had passed by years earlier. Its odd acceleration and cigar-like shape sparked whispers of artificial origin. A light sail, perhaps, a thin, ultra-reflective craft propelled by starlight. Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb even suggested it might be evidence of alien technology. The thought sent ripples through both the scientific community and the imagination of millions. And so, when 3I Atlas appeared, many wondered if history was repeating itself. Was this another message written in the movement of stars? Another clue that we are not alone, but in science. Wonder must always walk beside skepticism. The truth, as it turned out, was less dramatic, but no less beautiful. 3I Atlas was likely a comet, a fragile body of ice and dust that had traveled unimaginable distances. Over time, as it neared the sun, the heat began to tear it apart, its core fractured, sending shimmering debris trailing behind it like cosmic feathers. By the time it reached the inner solar system, it was already fading back into the darkness from which it came. Yet, even in its disintegration, it left us something priceless, a reminder of how vast, how interconnected, how wonderfully alive the universe truly is. Did you know that the very atoms in your body, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your breath, were all forged in stars, just like the 3I Atlas once orbited? Every atom in you has traveled across billions of years, across explosions and silence, across distances so vast they defy comprehension. You, too, are an interstellar traveler. Your body carries the memory of supernovas, the dust of ancient worlds, the light of forgotten suns. When you look up at the night sky, you're not an observer looking outward. You're part of it. You're the universe, remembering itself. And so, when we speak of 3I Atlas as an alien visitor, perhaps that word alien isn't quite right. Perhaps nothing in this universe is truly alien. Maybe it's all family, all pieces of the same great story, drifting in and out of one another's light. The idea that we might one day find life beyond Earth isn't frightening, it's comforting, because it means we're part of something that has no edges, something that connects us all, across time, across distance, across the quiet hum of space. Let your mind rest on that thought for a moment. The same cosmic forces that sent 3I Atlas gliding through our skies are the same forces that formed you. Gravity, starlight, time, you and the comet are made of the same song, only different verses. You breathing softly in your bed, and it burning gently through the cold dark. Both travelers, both temporary, both beautiful. As you feel your body relaxing, as your thoughts begin to drift and dissolve, imagine 3I Atlas continuing its journey past the outer edges of our solar system, beyond Neptune, beyond the Kuiper belt, back into the silence between the stars, where it will travel for eons, unseen, untouched, until, maybe, one day, it crosses paths with another curious world, another civilization looking up at the sky and wondering, just as we did, what is that? If you listen closely now, you might almost hear it, the gentle whisper of its passing, the soft hum of starlight against ice, the music of distance itself. It's a lullaby older than any language, a song written by the motion of the cosmos. And for tonight, it sings only for you. As we drift onward, keep your breath slow and steady. Let the thought of 3I Atlas fade into the horizon of your mind. Our next step will take us deeper into the question of how we detect such travelers, how the eyes of Earth, made of glass and data and wonder, can spot a tiny visitor across the void. But there's no need to hurry there. For now, just float here, between curiosity and calm, between waking and sleep. The stars are watching over you, and the universe, in its quiet way, is whispering, you belong here. Have you ever wondered how we even know when something from another star enters our skies? When you look up at the endless black canvas above, it seems impossible that we could detect a single distant traveler, a speck of rock and ice, smaller than a mountain, floating in the cosmic ocean. And yet, somehow, we do. We notice when the universe blinks, when the faintest dot of light moves differently from the rest. That's how the story of Three-Eye Atlas truly began, not with the object itself, but with the eyes that found it, the quiet guardians of the night sky, machines that never sleep, watching for the unexpected. Picture yourself now inside one of those observatories. It's night. Of course, the world outside is silent, except for the whisper of the wind across metal roofs. Inside, soft red lights glow against the dark. The giant dome above you opens with a low mechanical sigh, revealing the endless spread of stars. You can feel the coolness of high-altitude air brushing across your skin and beneath your hands. The smooth hum of technology, a telescope, patient and precise, turning its great mirrored eye toward the heavens. Each movement is slow, graceful, deliberate. Like the breathing of some great animal, you hear the faint whir of gears, the quiet tap of keys, and then you wait. Because in astronomy, discovery begins with stillness. The telescopes that discovered Three-Eye Atlas belong to a network called Atlas, the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. It was built not for glamour or science fiction, but for something beautifully practical, to spot anything that might collide with Earth. It watches the skies automatically, scanning the same regions again and again, searching for movement. Each night, ATLA as captures millions of points of light, stars, planets, galaxies, but once in a while, it notices a small shift, a single dot that's moved slightly from one image to the next. To most, it's just data, but to astronomers, that little moving light is a heartbeat, a pulse in the dark, a sign that something new has arrived. In late 2019, one such movement caught their attention. It was faint, distant, but unmistakable, a new object drifting across the images. At first, it seemed ordinary, another small comet perhaps, another frozen traveler from the outer reaches of our own solar system. But as calculations came in, something unusual began to emerge. Its trajectory didn't curve inward toward the sun in the usual way. Instead, it followed an open arc, a path that meant it was not bound to our sun's gravity at all. Astronomers recalculated, double-checked, and then, quietly, a few of them felt that familiar thrill rise in their chests. The same thrill that comes when you realize you're looking at something from another world. They labeled it Three-Eye Atlas, the third known interstellar object ever found. And just like that, another mystery had entered human awareness. But what's truly fascinating is how we detect such distant visitors. We don't see them directly the way we might imagine. Not like watching a comet streak across the sky with the naked eye. Instead, it's all about light. Every star, every rock, every dust grain reflects or absorbs light in its own unique way. By measuring those tiny changes, those subtle patterns of brightness, scientists can tell what an object is made of, how fast it's moving, and where it's going. Imagine, for a moment, that you're standing in a dark forest at night. You can't see the animals around you, but you can tell when something moves. You hear the rustle of leaves, the soft crunch of twigs, That's what astronomers do. They listen with light. They sense the faintest flicker of movement in the darkness and reconstruct the story behind it. When 3I Atlas was analyzed, its light revealed traces of ice, the fingerprint of a comet. It wasn't solid metal, nor purely rocky, but made of frozen gases that glowed faintly as the sun's warmth touched them. That faint halo, that shimmer, told scientists that it was releasing material, slowly unraveling as it neared the sun. But then came another surprise. Its brightness began to change rapidly. Some nights it glowed strongly. Others it faded, almost disappearing. This erratic behavior hinted that the object might be breaking apart. But it also opened a small door of possibility, the kind of door that fuels both wonder and debate. Could the light changes mean it was rotating? Or perhaps reflecting in a way that suggested a shape unlike any natural comet? Thin, flat, metallic maybe. The whispers began again. Could this be something built, not born, even among scientists? That question lingered quietly, not because they expected an answer, but because every mystery in the sky reminds us of how little we truly know. The truth is, space is still largely invisible to us. Our instruments catch only the faintest echoes of the vastness beyond. We see maybe a few thousand objects where there are billions. And every time we build better eyes, larger telescopes, sharper detectors, the universe grows. It stretches outward, revealing more stars, more dust, more stories. The more we see, the more we realize how small our vision still is. One of the most poetic facts about the Atlas system is that it was built to protect Earth, to give us a warning if a dangerous object were on a collision course. Yet, in doing that, it also became a bridge between worlds. It allowed us to witness travelers that had nothing to do with us, peaceful visitors, merely passing by. It's a reminder that curiosity often grows from responsibility. We look outward to stay safe, and in doing so, we find beauty. But detection doesn't end with telescopes. Once an object like 3I Atlas is found, a silent global collaboration begins. Astronomers from different countries, different time zones, start watching. They share data, refine orbits, measure brightness curves, like a worldwide relay of light and thought. Each observatory adds a piece to the puzzle. And in the quiet hours of their work, you can imagine them sitting in dim control rooms, screens glowing softly, eyes fixed on that single, moving dot somewhere. Someone yawns, takes another sip of coffee. Somewhere else, another telescope captures a few more photons from the same icy wanderer. Together, they are mapping a mystery, not just of science, but of existence. Now imagine yourself as one of them, sitting before the glowing monitors. The sky outside so vast it makes you feel smaller than you've ever felt before. The data scrolls slowly, numbers, coordinates, magnitudes, and then, in the middle of that quiet flood of information, you see it, the faintest flicker, a traveler between stars. For a moment, you feel connected to something ancient, something beyond comprehension, and you realize that discovery is never really about the object itself. It's about the experience of wonder, the quiet astonishment of being alive in a universe that keeps surprising you. As the days passed, 3I Atlas continued its journey. It brightened as it approached the inner solar system, then dimmed suddenly. Telescopes around the world confirmed it. The comet was fragmenting, breaking apart under the sun's gentle but relentless touch. In a way, it was a fitting ending. A traveler dissolving into starlight, returning to the same cosmic dust from which it was made. Some called it a disappointment, but others saw it as poetry, even in disintegration. It told a story of distance, of fragility, of time, and maybe that's the real beauty of astronomy, that even destruction can feel like creation. Even endings can shimmer with meaning, because every comet that breaks apart releases dust that will one day fall upon planets like ours. Seeds of carbon, water, and mystery. Perhaps even the seeds of life, in that sense. 3I Atlas didn't just visit, it gave something back. It joined the invisible cycle that connects all things. So as you lie there, eyes closed, breathing slow and easy, you can imagine that somewhere above you, tiny fragments of 3I Atlas are still floating, carried gently by solar winds, drifting through the black, each particle a whisper of a world we'll never see, each one holding in silence the memory of its long, lonely journey. The next time you gaze up at the night sky, remember that most of what you see is ancient light, and some of what you don't see, like 3I Atlas, is even older still. Invisible, fleeting, yet profoundly real, because the universe is not just vast, it's alive with motion. It's filled with quiet arrivals and graceful departures, and we, in our brief moment here, are lucky enough to notice a few as our journey continues. We'll follow the trail of light and shadow that 3I Atlas left behind. We'll explore what its structure, speed, and chemistry reveal about the birthplaces of comets and the distant stars they came from. But for now, let your thoughts rest. Let the hum of curiosity fade into calm. The stars are watching, and the universe keeps breathing. Slowly, patiently, beautifully, just as you are now. Have you ever wondered what an object from another star might actually look like, up close? What color its ice would be? How it would glint in the distant light of our sun? Would it be smooth or jagged, heavy or hollow, alive with energy or perfectly still? When astronomers first glimpsed 3I Atlas, these were not just questions of curiosity, they were whispers of possibility, because every interstellar traveler carries within it a story, not written in words, but in the ancient language of matter itself. Picture yourself drifting alongside it now. You're weightless, silent, wrapped in the cold velvet of interstellar space. Before you floats 3I Atlas, a small, uneven body, half rock, half ice, glowing faintly in the dim sunlight. At first glance, it looks like any comet, but then, as you draw closer, you notice something different. Its surface is mottled with strange patterns, pale veins of frozen gases, dark patches that absorb light like ink. Tiny crystals glisten where the solar wind has polished the ice smooth. You reach out, and though you can't feel it, you imagine the texture, brittle, ancient, almost fragile. You're looking at something that has traveled for millions, maybe billions of years, an emissary from another solar system, a messenger from another sun. Comets, even those born in our own neighborhood, are among the oldest relics in existence. They are like time capsules, preserving the earliest ingredients of creation when our solar system was young. It was not calm and ordered as it is now. It was a chaotic storm of dust, gas, and fire, swirling, colliding, forming planets, moons, and fragments that never quite fit into place, those fragments, frozen and forgotten at the edges of our system, became comets. So when one from beyond our system enters, it's as if the universe has mailed us a sample from another workshop, a chance to see how creation happened somewhere else. 3I Atlas was one such sample, its icy shell likely made of water, carbon dioxide, and frozen methane, substances that evaporate when warmed, creating the glowing coma, that misty halo that comets wear like a veil. But scientists noticed something strange about the composition of 3I Atlas. Its color was slightly off, bluer than expected. That hue hinted at unusual chemistry. Perhaps a higher mix of carbon chains or exotic ices formed under a different kind of starlight. Imagine that, the very color of the comet, whispering a story of an alien sun. A star with a light spectrum not like ours, maybe cooler or redder, or surrounded by a different kind of radiation. That means the ice you'd see glowing faintly around 3I Atlas might once have formed under skies completely unlike our own. Scientists suspect that inside comets like this lie amino acids, the building blocks of life. We've found them before, in meteorites, in ancient cosmic dust, simple, elegant molecules that, when given the right warmth and water, can combine to form proteins. And from there, life itself can begin. It's humbling to think that a small piece of 3I Atlas might have carried within it those same seeds, floating through space for eternity, waiting for a place to land. Maybe that's how life began here, too, perhaps, one day, billions of years ago. A comet just like this one struck a young Earth, melting in the fire of entry, and leaving behind the chemistry that would one day breathe, move, and dream. But there's something else. Something about 3I Atlas that deepened the mystery rather than solving it. Its structure seemed to behave differently under sunlight. Instead of tumbling randomly, it rotated slowly, almost deliberately. Its brightness rose and fell with a rhythm that felt strange, too steady, too controlled. Astronomers argued over the data. Was it simply coincidence, or was there something unusual about its shape? Some speculated that it might be extremely thin, like a sheet of glass or metal. Others thought it could be hollow. If so, could it have once been part of something larger, a broken fragment of an artificial design? The thought lingered, quietly, after all. In a universe this vast, could it really be impossible? Could something built by intelligence have crossed the gulf between stars? Unnoticed for eons, it was a thrilling question, but one that science, for now, had to leave unanswered. Still, the mystery of 3I Atlas continues to haunt astronomers, because even if it was purely natural, its materials, its shape, its trajectory, they all tell us something extraordinary. That the universe creates patterns over and over again. Worlds form, break apart, scatter, and then pieces of them wander freely. Every interstellar object we find could be debris from another world's history. A world that may have oceans, mountains, storms, maybe even life. 3I Atlas might be a fragment of an exoplanet's ancient crust, a shard of some long-dead moon, or the icy remnant of a failed star system. And now it passes us, briefly, silently, beautifully, leaving only questions in its wake. If you close your eyes, you can almost imagine its journey. Launched long ago, by a cosmic accident. For thousands of years, it drifted through that alien system. Then, finally, it escaped. For millions more, it wandered the endless dark, crossing interstellar space, a region so empty that a single atom can float for miles without meeting another. No light, no heat, only the faint radiation of distant stars. And still it moved forward, silent, loyal to its path, until at last, by a cosmic coincidence beyond comprehension, it entered our solar system, passing through our tiny window of space and time. To us, it seemed miraculous, but to the universe, it was simply routine, another wanderer among billions. In its core, if one could break through the layers of ice and dust, you would find a mixture of silicate rock and frozen gases, each layer telling the story of ancient chemistry, some formed in intense cold, others shaped by bursts of heat, some layers smooth, others shattered. It's as if the comet itself remembers the violent birth of stars, the shocks of radiation, the silent collapse of gas clouds, all preserved, locked inside like a record carved by the cosmos itself. And when it began to break apart, those layers scattered into space, dust joining dust, perhaps one day those same particles will drift toward another world, fall through another sky, and once again begin a new cycle. There is a quiet symmetry in that thought, that everything that falls apart in the universe eventually becomes the beginning of something else. Planets die and give birth to comets. Comets shatter and seed new stars. Stars explode and make the elements that build life, and life, in turn, looks up at the stars and wonders where it came from. You, lying here now, are part of that same pattern, made of the same materials. Your bones are stardust. Your breath once belonged to ancient air. Your heartbeat is the echo of gravity itself, the same invisible force that carried 3I Atlas across the void. As you breathe softly, let that thought settle deep inside you. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself in this quiet, fragile, human moment. Even 3I Atlas, cold and silent, is a kind of mirror, showing us what we once were and what we might become again. Some scientists believe that interstellar objects like this one will continue to visit us, perhaps dozens, maybe hundreds more, each bringing new data, new chemistry, new wonder, and each time humanity will look up, point telescopes toward the night, and feel that same combination of awe and belonging, because every visitor from beyond reminds us that space is not empty. It is alive with motion and memory. So as we drift toward the next part of this journey, imagine the last sight of 3I Atlas as it faded from our reach, its fragments spinning gently through the darkness, the sun shrinking behind it, the earth now just another pale light in the distance. No sound, no witness, only the slow ballet of dust and light. Perhaps, somewhere far away, another civilization has seen it too. Perhaps they've looked up through alien skies and asked the same question we did. Could it be more than it seems? Maybe, just maybe. 3I Atlas connects us all, a single traveler moving silently between worlds, carrying within it the memory of creation and the promise that even across light, we are never truly alone. Now, as you lie still, let the thought of that traveler dissolve into calm. Breathe in deeply, Exhale slowly. Feel your body becoming weightless, like stardust floating through infinite space. The next chapter will carry us deeper into the ancient chemistry of comets, into the question of whether they might not just carry life, but create it. But for now, let yourself rest. The universe is vast, patient, and gentle, and so are you. Have you ever wondered where the first spark of life truly came from? Not just life as we know it, cells and DNA, but the very first whisper of living chemistry. The first time in the vast history of the universe that something inert, to divide, to react, to feel heat, to grow. Scientists have wrestled with that question for centuries. And one of the most quietly beautiful theories ever proposed is that the seeds of life may have come not from Earth itself, but from beyond, delivered by visitors from the stars. Comets like 3I Atlas, drifting silently across the void, may have been the couriers of creation. Picture yourself floating now, not above Earth, but in the very beginning of everything. The universe is still young. The stars are new and brilliant. Dust swirls like golden mist across black skies. There are no planets yet, only fragments, frozen islands forming in the cosmic sea. In one of those distant systems, a comet takes shape. Ice gathers around grains of dust. Chemicals combine in darkness and cold. Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen, the simple alphabet of life, they bond, separate, and bond again through the slow chemistry of time. Complex molecules begin to appear, amino acids, sugars, simple proteins. There is no intention behind it, no design, just the patient work of physics and chance. And yet, within those quiet reactions lies everything that will ever live, breathe, or dream. Now imagine that comet being struck by a shockwave, the force of a nearby star's explosion. It's flung outward, away from its home, carrying inside it those fragile molecules, preserved in ice colder than any winter on Earth. It travels for millions, perhaps billions of years, through the endless night, and one day, it drifts into a new solar system, maybe ours, maybe another. Its path crosses that of a young, blue planet. Gravity pulls it down. It burns through the atmosphere, blazing across the newborn sky. And when it lands, maybe softly, maybe in fire, it releases what it carries. Those same molecules spill into the oceans, mix with minerals, salts, sunlight, and somewhere in that mixture, life begins again. That, in essence, is the story of panspermia, the idea that life, or its ingredients, travel across the cosmos on the backs of comets. It's not science fiction, not entirely, because we've found real evidence that it could happen. Meteorites that have fallen to Earth, like the Murchison meteorite in Australia, contain amino acids not found on our planet. We've detected complex organic molecules on comets, in interstellar dust, even in the icy plumes of Saturn's moon. It seems that the universe naturally wants to make life, that chemistry alone is enough. All it needs is a place to begin now. Imagine 3I Atlas, not just as a frozen relic, but as a seed itself, a silent traveler carrying within it all the ingredients of existence. Its icy layers protecting delicate molecules from cosmic radiation. Its dust core preserving the recipe of alien life, perhaps the heat of our sun, gentle compared to the chill of interstellar space. was enough to awaken some of those molecules, to let them react again after eons of sleep. And if one of its fragments ever reached Earth or another world, it might have carried that potential with it, invisible, quiet, unstoppable. Scientists at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center once described comets as dirty snowballs of the early solar system. But that phrase feels too small for what they might really be. They are time machines, libraries, and laboratories all at once inside them. Reactions that take seconds in a warm lab might take centuries in the cold. Yet given enough time, those slow reactions produce miracles, the same amino acids found in your body right now, the same sugars that power your brain, the same carbon compounds that form your DNA. It's humbling to think that the chemistry of your life could have begun in a comet drifting far beyond the sun, that every cell you have may carry the echo of interstellar ice. Now, take a slow breath. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast frozen plain, the landscape of a comet's surface, the airless silence so complete that even your heartbeat feels too loud. Above you, the stars burn like frost in the sky. Beneath your feet, beneath layers of ancient ice, complex molecules rest in stillness, waiting as if listening. They do not know what they are yet. They do not know that someday they will become blood and thought and memory. They simply exist, patient, timeless, until one day, perhaps by accident, they will awaken. When 3I Atlas began to break apart under the pull of our sun, astronomers mourned the loss of a scientific opportunity. But perhaps, in a way, that destruction was not an end, but a continuation. Each fragment that drifted away became a traveler of its own, each particle of dust carrying within it the same complex chemistry. And if just one of those fragments falls onto a young world somewhere, a moon, a planet, a place with water and warmth, then the story of life may begin again. That idea is both comforting and haunting, because it suggests that the universe doesn't need us to try to make life. It's already doing it. Everywhere, all the time, quietly, in the dark, with infinite patience. Even now, spacecraft like Rosetta and Stardust have collected samples from comets, and the results were astonishing. They found glycine, an amino acid essential for life, and simple sugars, and even traces of phosphorus, an element used in DNA and cell membranes. It's as if nature wrote the first draft of life long before there was Earth. And comets were the messengers that delivered it, when you think about it that way. 3I Atlas becomes more than an object of curiosity. It becomes a symbol, a whisper from the universe, reminding us of our shared origin. Because maybe we are not just the children of Earth. Maybe we are the children of the stars themselves. Every comet, every fragment of dust, every grain that falls through a planet's atmosphere might be carrying some version of the same story, the same code, written in chemistry instead of language, waiting for the right conditions to be read. And if life can begin from something as small as that, then the universe must be teeming with possibility. Planets where rain falls on alien oceans, where strange creatures breathe atmospheres of methane, where other minds might look up at their own skies and wonder how they began. Perhaps they too were seeded by comets. Perhaps they too were touched by travelers like 3I Atlas. And perhaps, without even knowing it, we are connected through that, through the ancient chemistry that bridges stars. As you drift deeper now, imagine floating through a river of comets, millions of them gliding silently through the dark, each one a capsule of creation, each one holding the potential for life. You pass by 3I Atlas, and then another, and another. Their trails shimmer like silver threads in the black. You can almost feel the pulse of their movement, as if the universe itself is breathing. Each comet an inhale, each star an exhale, each fragment a heartbeat of creation. It's strange how something so cold, so distant, could feel so alive. But maybe that's the secret, that life is not about heat or blood or motion. It's about pattern, about persistence, about the will of molecules to organize, to find order, to seek connection, and that drive, that impulse, is written everywhere, even in the ice of comets, even in the dust that falls unseen through the solar wind. So perhaps 3I Atlas is more than a visitor. Perhaps it's a teacher, a reminder that life is not fragile, it is inevitable. Given enough time, enough space, enough silence, it will find a way, because the universe itself wants to know itself. And life is the way it does that. You can rest in that thought, that every heartbeat, every breath you take, is a continuation of something ancient, something written in the stars before the earth ever existed, and that somewhere, far away, other hearts may beat to the same cosmic rhythm, linked by comets, by chemistry, by the quiet persistence of creation itself. As 3I Atlas fades once more into the dark beyond our solar system, it carries with it the same mystery it arrived with. Was it alive? No, not in the way we understand. But in another sense, yes, it carried the potential of life. And that is a kind of aliveness all its own. So as your eyes grow heavy and your breathing slows, let that thought drift gently through you. You are made of the same elements, the same stories, the same stardust that travels on comets like 3I Atlas. And though the universe feels vast and silent, you are not separate from it. You are its dream, its echo, its living memory. Rest now, float in the quiet. The journey continues, and in the next chapter, we'll follow the trail further into the search for patterns in the silence, the mysterious signals that whisper through the cosmos, and the question that haunts every astronomer: if comets can bring life, could they also carry a message? Have you ever imagined that somewhere in the endless dark, something might be calling out, not in words, not in sound, but in patterns of light, radio, and motion so faint, across the vast silence of the universe? Those whispers travel through the black between stars, through dust and frozen clouds. Sometimes they pass right through us, unseen, and sometimes, for a brief and fragile moment, we hear them. Astronomers spend their lives listening for these whispers. They build great dishes of metal, wider than football fields. They tune their instruments to the faintest frequencies. They wait year after year, scanning the skies, and though most of what they hear is the static of the universe, cosmic background noise, the afterglow of creation, sometimes something stands out. Something too structured to be random, too rhythmic to be chaos, a pattern, a pulse, a possibility. When 3I Atlas passed through our solar system, some researchers began to ask a strange question. What if interstellar objects aren't only physical travelers? What if some of them are messages? Ships made not of steel and circuits, but of pattern and intent. What if the universe speaks not in language, but in orbits, light, and chemistry, and we have only just begun to learn how to listen? The idea sounds almost mythic, that a comet could carry meaning. Yet when you look at how nature communicates, you start to realize that information doesn't need wires or sound. It only needs a system that can repeat. DNA itself is a code for letters that form the story of every living thing. Light carries information in waves. Atoms store it in their structures. Perhaps comets, too, could be storytellers of a kind, their tails sweeping messages written in dust and ice, spelling out the history of where they came from and where they're going. Close your eyes and imagine a field of radio telescopes under a dark desert sky. The horizon glows faintly with the last traces of twilight. The air is cool, perfectly still. One by one, the great metal dishes begin to turn. They point toward the coordinates of 3I Atlas. Their motors hum softly. Each dish becomes an ear to the cosmos, listening for something beyond imagination. Inside the control room, a scientist watches a stream of data, a river of numbers and light. The signal fluctuates, faint, steady, then faint again. It could be nothing, or it could be everything. He leans closer, eyes tired from the glow of the monitors, his heart beating in time with the pulsing data. There is a rhythm, slow, deliberate, almost like a heartbeat, and then it's gone, vanished into the static, leaving behind only the question. Was that a glitch, or was that a greeting? The truth, as always, is elusive. We know that comets release energy, gas jets, bursts of ionized dust, reflections of sunlight. They can mimic pulses, produce repeating signals as they spin and shed material. But some patterns are stranger. Some defy easy explanation, and for a moment, even the most rational minds feel the shiver of possibility. In 1967, a graduate student named Jocelyn Bell Bernal detected the first pulsar, a star that blinked with perfect precision every 1.33 seconds. For weeks, no one could explain it. The signal was so regular that she labeled it LGM-1, Little Green Men 1. It wasn't aliens, of course. It was a spinning neutron star. But that moment taught us something profound, that the universe itself is capable of appearing intelligent, that nature, in its symmetry and rhythm, can look like thought. Perhaps 3I Atlas belongs to that same family of cosmic illusions, an object so perfectly strange that it forces us to question where nature ends and intention begins. When scientists analyzed its path, they noticed faint irregularities, small deviations in speed and brightness, similar to those seen in Amu. And though natural explanations exist, rotation, fragmentation, the timing, the geometry, the persistence of those anomalies kept the debate alive. Could it be that we were watching something steer, something adjusting, faintly, subtly, almost imperceptibly? The mind resists that idea because it feels too big, too unlike the quiet universe we think we know, and yet, again and again, our understanding expands every century. We realize the cosmos is larger, older, more intricate than we believed. There was a time when we thought Earth was the center, then the sun, then the galaxy. And now we know even our galaxy is just one among hundreds of billions, each filled with its own comets, its own travelers, its own mysteries. If one of those worlds sent something across the dark, would we even recognize it? Take another slow breath. Imagine 3I Atlas gliding silently past Jupiter, its tail shimmering in the faint sunlight, the ice vaporizing gently, each molecule carrying a trace of structure, a rhythm in its reflection. Maybe, in that pattern, there's a sequence, a ratio, a geometry that repeats not by accident, but by design. Perhaps not communication in words, but communication in form, a way of saying we exist too, without ever making a sound. There are those who believe that information itself is the language of the universe, that everything, light, matter, time, is built on patterns, and that consciousness arises wherever those patterns become complex enough to see themselves. If that's true, then maybe comets are not merely chunks of ice and rock. Maybe they are moving memories, each one carrying data from its place of birth. A frozen record of conditions, temperatures, minerals, radiation, encoded not in symbols, but in chemistry. And if someone somewhere knew how to read those codes, they could learn the story of countless worlds, a cosmic library drifting through eternity. Imagine that 3I Atlas as a messenger not from another species, but from another epoch, a traveler carrying the fingerprints of an ancient sun long extinguished, the chemical echoes of planets long gone, every molecule in its surface a page of history written in ice. And when the sun's warmth touched it, it began to release that story into space, vaporizing in long, slow paragraphs of light. Let your mind drift to a deeper thought. What if communication doesn't always require intention? What if the universe is constantly speaking through the spin of stars, the orbits of comets, the pulse of quasars, and we, as conscious beings, are simply learning to translate? Perhaps every signal we call mystery is not a message sent to us, but one we happen to overhear, the universe talking to itself and us, catching fragments of that endless conversation. As the scientist in the control room leans back from his monitor, the faint hum of the telescope fills the silence. He knows the signal he saw may never repeat. It may have been nothing more than the echo of a rock tumbling through space. But in that moment of uncertainty, there is wonder, because the unknown is not empty. It's alive with potential, and it is in those small, uncertain moments that discovery begins. You are lying here, listening to this story in the quiet dark, your breath rising and falling like the rhythm of distant signals. You too are part of that same network of communication. Every heartbeat, a pulse of energy. Every thought, a signal within the cosmic web of atoms and time. You are the receiver and the message, both. A living antenna tuned to the frequency of the universe. So if comets, like 3I Atlas, are messengers, perhaps their purpose is not to deliver something to us, but to remind us of what we already are. Messages made of matter, temporary expressions of infinite code, fleeting, beautiful, and full of meaning. The scientist closes his notebook. Outside, the night is deep. The telescopes continue to turn, their silver dishes catching starlight and silence alike. Somewhere beyond Neptune 3I Atlas drifts, its fragments glowing faintly, spinning slowly through the cold, each fragment releasing a thin mist that stretches into the void, a long, silent breath of information, fading, expanding, becoming part of the background hum that fills all of space. Maybe that's how the universe speaks, not through revelation, but through repetition, through patterns we almost recognize, through echoes that feel like memory, through silence that sounds like waiting. As you drift toward sleep, imagine yourself listening, not with your ears, but with your whole being, listening to the slow music of distance, the faint rhythm of stars being born and dying, the whisper of 3i Atlas passing through the dark. It has no words, but still, somehow, it says everything. And as it fades into the black beyond our sun, you might realize that the real message is not out there, it's here, in the simple truth that to wonder, to listen, to feel awe is to already be part of the conversation. Rest easy now. You are safe in the vastness. You are heard. The silence of the stars is not emptiness, it is attention. And 3i Atlas, wherever it drifts tonight, is part of that same listening, waiting, like you, for the next whisper from beyond. Have you ever wondered what an advanced civilization might look like? Not their faces or their voices, but their tools, their technology, their way of shaping the universe around them. Would they build gleaming ships of metal? Or would they use the very fabric of nature itself, harnessing the materials already scattered through the stars, blending creation and design until the line between nature and technology disappeared entirely? When astronomers first saw 3i Atlas, some of them whispered, not publicly, not in papers or conferences, but quietly, could it be artificial? Not a craft made by hands, but a vessel guided by intent, something designed not to stand out, but to fit in, to look natural, to travel as the comets do, unnoticed across the ages. Imagine, for a moment, that a civilization existed so ancient and so patient that it learned to work with the universe rather than against it. While we carve metal and burn fuel, they might have learned to sculpt ice, gravity, and light. Perhaps they found that comets already built by the cosmos make perfect carriers. They are abundant, energy efficient, and self-sustaining. They can drift for billions of years without breaking apart. And, if equipped with subtle mechanisms, magnetic sails, nanostructures, coded chemical patterns, they could carry not people, but information across galaxies, across epochs, across time itself. Now, close your eyes and imagine standing on the surface of such a comet, not a dead rock, but a living machine. Beneath your feet, the ground hums faintly. Patterns of heat move through the ice. Tiny structures, smaller than grains of sand, shift and align. They react to starlight, to gravity, to the presence of energy. They record, process, and store data in forms far beyond our comprehension. You touch the surface, and it feels warm, as if something beneath it is awake. If you were to look inside 3i Atlas with senses beyond sight, you might see an intricate web of geometry, layers of ice interlaced with metallic veins. A design so subtle it could be mistaken for accident, but so precise it feels intentional. Could it be possible that what we call a comet is, to someone else, a tool, a vessel for seeding galaxies with knowledge? A self-replicating machine disguised as a fragment of nature so that it could drift unnoticed for eons, carrying encoded instructions for the next civilization to find. Science fiction, perhaps, but not entirely impossible. Even we, in our early stage of cosmic infancy, have begun to imagine ways to send our presence beyond our solar system. The Voyager probes carry golden records, our greetings, our sounds, our music into the void. They are messages in bottles cast into the ocean of stars. What if others did the same long before us, not with metal, but with the natural language of the cosmos, chemistry, magnetism, and light? There is a hypothesis in astrophysics known as the Dyson concept, proposed by Freeman Dyson, the idea that an advanced civilization might harness the energy of its star by building vast structures around it. But what if there is another kind of civilization? One that doesn't build megastructures, but instead weaves its existence into the subtle materials of space. They might seed their knowledge into the icy nuclei of comets, hide their technology in the patterns of molecular spin, communicate across generations through the evolution of matter itself. A quiet, invisible intelligence woven into the natural flow of the universe. As your mind drifts deeper, picture the galaxy as a great, living organism, each comet a neuron, each planet a cell, each star a heartbeat. And in that network, civilizations rise and fall. Some learn to speak through machines, others through mathematics, and the most ancient, perhaps, through the movement of comets, leaving trails of encoded dust like footprints across time. If such a civilization existed, their messages might not be meant for us. They might be meant for the universe itself. Instructions, reminders, or seeds of order, laid down to stabilize chaos, to balance entropy with creation, and maybe, just maybe, 3I Atlas was one of those messengers, passing through our solar system on an orbit that looks random, but is anything but. Astronomers noticed something about its motion. It curved ever so slightly, not enough to defy physics, but enough to make them wonder, was it simply out, or something adjusting its trajectory, like a leaf caught in wind that somehow knew where to land? Take a breath and feel the stillness of that thought. The idea that we might be watched, not by eyes or machines, but by intentions embedded in nature itself, that somewhere, far beyond our reach, someone has already learned to travel not through ships, but through systems, to let their thoughts flow through particles, their maps encoded in starlight, their voices carried in the slow drift of ice and dust. The deeper you think about it, the more the boundaries blur. What is technology, really? Is it only what we build? Or can it be what the universe builds with us? When you look at a spider's web, you see both art and engineering. When you see a coral reef, you see architecture. Perhaps, in the same way, a comet is both nature and artifact, a natural phenomenon that has become a vessel of purpose. Some physicists have speculated that the first true signs of alien intelligence we detect might not be signals at all, but structures, natural objects that defy randomness in subtle, elegant ways. An asteroid with an impossible symmetry, a comet with an unexpected internal pattern, a magnetic field that encodes repeating primes. We might not recognize it as intelligence because it wouldn't look like us. It would look like the universe, perfectly ordinary, perfectly extraordinary. Perhaps that is why we haven't found them yet. Because we've been looking for voices when we should be looking for echoes, for patterns hidden in the dust of passing comets, for mathematical rhythms in the tales of interstellar travelers. Perhaps 3I Atlas was one such echo, a remnant of something vast, a trace of a civilization that no longer exists, yet whose creations still wander the galaxy, carrying messages they themselves forgot. Now, picture yourself inside that silence, drifting alongside 3I Atlas, its surface glimmering faintly in the starlight, the fragments of its body trailing behind it like ribbons, every rotation sending a soft pulse of light through the dark. If you could listen closely enough, you might hear patterns in that pulse, a sequence too precise to be accident, a rhythm that feels almost familiar, like the beating of a heart or the rise and fall of your breath. Maybe that's why the human mind finds meaning in these mysteries, because we recognize the rhythm. We are built of the same mathematics, the same geometry, our very thoughts are patterns, our neurons firing in waves, our DNA spiraling in perfect ratios. And so, when we look out at the universe and see symmetry, rhythm, repetition, we feel connection, because on some deep, ancient level, we are built from the same design. It is not impossible that life elsewhere might have reached that understanding first. They may have learned to live within the structure of reality itself, not bending the universe to their will, but harmonizing with it, like musicians tuning to a cosmic frequency. And maybe, just maybe, 3I Atlas is one of their notes, a sustained vibration from a civilization long past, still echoing through the interstellar void, waiting for others, for us to listen. When we think of alien civilizations, we imagine the strange and the mechanical ships, machines, transmissions. But what if the truth is gentler? What if the most advanced life in the universe expresses itself not through conquest or spectacle, but through art, through acts of creation so subtle that only those willing to slow down, to observe with patience and awe, can ever understand? Maybe 3I Atlas is not a probe or a ship, but a poem written in ice, a message that simply says, we were here to. You can rest in that thought now. The universe is not silent, it is eloquent. It speaks through comets, through stars, through you. Each breath you take is the continuation of that dialogue. Each thought you have is a ripple in that same sea. 3I Atlas continues to drift, not lost, but fulfilled. Its purpose, whatever it was, complete in its passing. And though we may never know if it was alive, designed, or accidental, it has already done what every great messenger does. It made us look up, it made us wonder, and in that act of wonder, it connected us to the infinite. As you close your eyes, let your body feel as if it too is drifting, weightless, timeless, suspended between curiosity and calm. The stars above you endless, the world below silent, and somewhere, very far away, 3I Atlas glides on, a spark of silver against the black, carrying, perhaps, not just data, but dreams. The story is not over yet, because in the next chapter, we'll drift even deeper into the hidden architecture of the galaxy itself, where gravity and light weave structures vaster than imagination, and where, perhaps, the traces of intelligence are written not in comets or stars, but in the very fabric of space-time. For now, breathe in. Let the mystery settle like stardust within you, and drift gently into the silence. Have you ever looked at the night sky and wondered if there's a pattern behind it all? A secret architecture woven into the darkness, a hidden order guiding every particle, every planet, every star. We see the stars as scattered points of light, random, distant, unreachable. But what if they aren't random at all? What if the universe has a structure, an immense, invisible web stretching across billions of light years, connecting everything, including us? Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine drifting beyond our solar system, beyond the Milky Way, past the glowing spiral arms of other galaxies, and then further still, until you can see them all together. Not as separate islands of stars, but as threads of light woven into a cosmic tapestry. Each galaxy connected to another by long, delicate filaments of matter, like duelist spider silk spanning the darkness. This is not imagination, this is real. It's what scientists call the cosmic web. You can picture it now, luminous threads stretching for billions of light years. A vast neural network, glowing faintly, alive with the quiet hum of gravity and time. Galaxies cluster along its threads, like glowing neurons in a brain. And in the voids between them, vast, silent oceans of emptiness. There are regions where almost nothing exists. No light, no stars, no sound, only the faint echo of creation itself. The first time humans caught a glimpse of this pattern, it changed the way we saw everything. For centuries, we thought the universe was chaotic, an explosion scattered without reason. But when astronomers mapped the distribution of galaxies using powerful telescopes and supercomputers, they saw something breathtaking, a symmetry that stretched far beyond what randomness could explain. The universe was not a cloud, it was a structure, a grand design too vast for any single being to grasp. Now imagine, as you float within that web, that each thread of light hums faintly, a vibration, a pulse, like the steady beat of a sleeping heart. And in the rhythm of that heartbeat, some physicists have wondered if the universe itself behaves like a brain, processing, storing, and transmitting information across its cosmic filaments. If that were true, then every star could be a thought, every black hole a memory, every galaxy cluster a burst of consciousness on a scale so large we cannot yet perceive it. It's a strange idea, but it has roots in real science. When computer models of the universe's large-scale structure are compared with models of human brain neurons, the resemblance is uncanny. Both form vast networks where energy flows through connected nodes. Both show fractal symmetry, patterns repeating themselves at different scales, from the microscopic to the cosmic. And though we are made of atoms, and the universe is made of galaxies, the geometry, the language of connection is the same. So perhaps the universe is not a machine, but an organism, a vast living entity that breathes in cycles of creation and destruction. Its stars born and dying like the cells of a cosmic body. Its comets, perhaps like 3-eye Atlas, acting as messengers, moving along the veins of space like electrical impulses, carrying signals between distant clusters of thought. We might be, in that analogy, a small flicker in the brain of the cosmos itself, an awareness within awareness. It's comforting, in a strange way, to think that we're part of something alive, something greater. Because then, even our smallest moments, the quiet thoughts before sleep, the dreams that drift between stars, would be more than fleeting shadows. They would be echoes within an infinite mind, you might ask. If the universe is so vast and interconnected, could intelligence, or something like it, exist everywhere? Not as individual beings, but as patterns of organization, as harmonies in the movement of matter and light. In 2019, researchers studying the cosmic web discovered something haunting, a strange regularity in the spacing of galaxies along its filament. They were not placed randomly. They seemed to follow a rhythm, a distribution almost musical in nature. Some physicists compared it to standing waves, the way sound creates repeating nodes of vibration. It was as if the universe was ringing, slowly, quietly, a frequency too deep for us to hear, but one that shapes everything we see. If 3I Atlas was once part of that rhythm, if it emerged from the quiet hum of that universal resonance, then maybe its passage through our solar system wasn't a coincidence. Maybe it was a note in a larger symphony, a tone in a piece of music that spans eternity. And if that's true, then we are not just observers of the universe. We are participants in it. Our existence, our thoughts, our very consciousness are harmonics in the grand composition of space-time. Let your breath follow that rhythm for a moment, in and out, slow and steady. Like the waves of energy that flow through the cosmic web, your heartbeat aligns with that universal pulse. You are not separate from the stars. You are made of the same particles, forged in the same furnaces. You are one thread in the same web, connected across distance and time to everything that ever was. There's another mystery in the web, one that even scientists can't yet explain. Between its filaments of light are voids so enormous they defy imagination. Dark regions where galaxies should exist but do not, silent zones. Some call them cosmic deserts, but others, quietly, call them something else. The sleeping regions, places where the universe seems to rest, where energy hums in frequencies too slow for us to detect. Could these voids be the universe's dreams? The unconscious mind of creation itself, holding potential, waiting for the next act of cosmic imagination. If the web is the body of the universe, then perhaps these voids are its stillness, the spaces where thought turns inward, where time slows and matter listens, and maybe, somewhere within that silence, a thought is forming, a pulse that will, one day, create something new, another galaxy, another world, another beginning. As you drift deeper into the idea, imagine light traveling through those threads. It doesn't move in straight lines. It bends, curves, and weaves through the fabric of gravity. And as it moves, it carries with it the memory of everything it has ever touched. Every star it's passed, every particle it's warmed, each photon a tiny archivist, a storyteller of creation. In this way, the universe may not only be alive, it may remember. The galaxies, the stars, the comets, they might all be part of that memory. Each orbit, each pattern, a repetition of something ancient, something eternal. And 3I Atlas, silent, lonely, drifting, could be a fragment of that memory. A dream the universe once had and let go. Now wandering through the dark, carrying the residue of thought, like a single spark remembering the fire that made it. Now, take another deep breath, and imagine you are floating through one of those filaments. You feel the pull of distant gravity, soft and endless. You see galaxies like glowing beads on a thread, and beyond them, faint arcs of light twisting like silk. In the distance, something pulses, slow, rhythmic, steady. It's the heartbeat of the cosmos. And for a moment, you are part of it. Your thoughts dissolve into its rhythm. Your body drifts, weightless, peaceful. you realize that every question, every mystery about 3I Atlas, about alien civilizations, about the architecture of space, may be connected. Not separate stories, but different verses in the same eternal song. The melody of existence itself. We are notes. We are patterns. We are echoes of that first vibration that began everything. And as you lie here now, listening, breathing, drifting, you are hearing it still, the original note. The first sound of creation still ringing through every atom of your being. Maybe that's what the universe has always been trying to tell us, that we are not looking at it, we are looking through it. And it is looking back, through us, seeing itself reflected in our eyes, our questions, our dreams. Our search for meaning is its search too, because consciousness, no matter its form, is the mirror through which the universe learns what it is. So rest now, you are safe, you are seen, you are part of the web that binds stars to hearts, galaxies to dreams, and thought to time. As you breathe in, feel the energy of creation filling you, and as you exhale, feel yourself become lighter, like a dust mote caught in starlight, drifting slowly along the threads of infinity. And somewhere, far above you, 3I Atlas moves on, following its invisible path along the web, a silver thought in the mind of the cosmos, passing through the dreaming silence, leaving only wonder in its wake. And as you drift into sleep, you carry that wonder with you, the quiet knowledge that you are not lost in the universe. You are part of its design, a single glowing point in the grand eternal web. Have you ever thought about light not just as brightness, but as memory? Every beam that reaches your eyes tonight began its journey long before you were born. Some of it left the surface of distant stars millions of years ago. Some reflected off the icy crust of comets. Some may have been wandering through the galaxy since before the Earth had oceans. And yet, here it is now, touching you gently, as if whispering a story it has carried for eons. You see, light never really dies. It travels, it transforms, it bends, but it never forgets. Every photon is like a messenger, a traveler who carries with it a trace of where it's been, the energy it absorbed, the path it followed, the fingerprints of the cosmos imprinted deep within it. In a way, light is the universe's diary, a flowing record written not in ink or language, but in frequency, vibration, and time. When you look up at the stars, you're not seeing the present. You're seeing the past, a frozen memory. The light from a distant sun might have left when humanity didn't yet exist, when no one on Earth could have imagined the shape of a galaxy, and yet it has waited patiently, traveling across the void just to reach your eyes, so that for one brief, fragile moment, you could see what it saw, and in seeing, you become part of its journey. Now imagine drifting through that light, floating in a silent sea of golden particles, each one carrying the faint echo of something ancient, a star collapsing, a comet shimmering, a planet turning slowly in its orbit. If you listen closely, you might almost hear them, not with your ears, but with that quiet sense beyond hearing, the one that recognizes beauty even when it cannot be spoken. In physics, photons are strange beings. They have no mass, no rest. They are pure energy. And yet they behave both like waves and like particles, like dancers who can be in two places at once. Their existence defies logic. They can cross unimaginable distances, slip through gravity, and still arrive with their message intact. It's as if they were designed to carry truth, the truth of what has been, what is, and what might one day be. But here's the mystery. When a photon leaves a star, it travels at the speed of light, and at that speed, time stops. From the photon's perspective, its entire journey from one end of the universe to the other happens in a single instant. No waiting, no aging, no passage of time at all. So when the light from a star finally touches your skin, that photon has, in a sense, just left for you. It has traveled millions of years, but for the light itself, it never left at all. That means the moment you see a star twinkle, you are touching eternity. You are sharing a moment that, from light's point of view, has existed forever. The universe, then, may not be a sequence of events, but a single continuous now, and light is the thread that connects it. Some scientists believe that light holds within it the very structure of the cosmos. The fine ripples of the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, still echo faintly in the photons that surround us. They are the universe's first words, still speaking, still reaching us, billions of years later. If we could translate them, if we could learn their language, we might hear the first sound of creation itself, the soft vibration that began everything, the heartbeat that started the stars. Now imagine 3i, Atlas, drifting through that light, its surface catching those ancient waves, each particle of its icy body shimmering with memory. The comet moves through space like a shadow brushing against time. Every beam of light that touches it records a fragment of its story, its rotation, its temperature, its chemical secrets, all imprinted in photons that scatter away, carrying its history across the cosmos, like dust from a dream. And perhaps, somewhere, those scattered photons will reach another world, another sky, and someone, or something, will look up and see in their faint glow the memory of 3i, Atlas. Just as you are seeing the memory of distant suns tonight, the universe remembers everything. It forgets nothing, because light never truly disappears. It only travels, transforming, changing hands, changing meaning. Think about this. When sunlight touches your face in the morning, that light began its journey at the core of the sun, a fusion inferno where atoms are crushed together into pure energy. It took thousands of years for that light to crawl from the sun's center to its surface, and then only 8 minutes to reach you. That means every morning, when you wake and feel warmth on your skin, you're touching energy that began before recorded history, older than every human story, older than civilization itself. A whisper from the sun saying, "I remember," in the same way. The faint light from distant galaxies that reaches our telescopes today carries the universe's autobiography. Every color, every wavelength, tells a piece of the story. Some light bears the scars of cosmic collisions. Some hums softly with the signature of hydrogen, the universe's first element. Some bends under the weight of dark matter, its path twisted by invisible hands. And all of it, every beam, every shimmer, is a message, waiting to be understood. Now, let's drift deeper. Imagine light as consciousness, not metaphorically, but literally. What if awareness itself travels through photons? What if each particle of light carries not just information, but a trace of perception, a spark of knowing? Some philosophers of physics and mystics, long before them, have suggested that the universe might be aware of itself through light, that every photon is a glance, a moment of cosmic self-recognition when light touches you. The universe sees itself through your eyes. You are, after all, made of the same particles. The atoms in your body once burned inside stars, and the light reflecting from your skin tonight will travel outward forever, long after you're gone. Your image, your presence will continue across the dark, like a ripple in time, carrying the faint imprint of who you were. Someone, somewhere, someday might see that photon, and in that instant, they'll see you. Not your face, not your body, but your light. A brief memory preserved in the language of the cosmos. And maybe that's what all of this means. That the universe doesn't need to write its history in books or stone. It writes it in light, in the gentle rain of photons that fall endlessly through space. Each one a sentence, each beam a story, each reflection a reminder that nothing truly disappears. Everything shines again, somewhere, now. Take a slow, deep breath and imagine yourself surrounded by that ancient light. It's soft, golden, infinite, each shimmer carrying a story older than memory itself. It fills the space around you, quiet, peaceful. You begin to feel weightless, as if your body is made of the same particles, as if you are dissolving into the light itself. Your thoughts slow, your breath deepens, your heartbeat aligns with the rhythm of the stars. For a moment, you are not separate from the universe. You are its reflection, its continuation, its awareness. The same light that once illuminated the birth of galaxies now flows through your eyes, your skin, your mind. You are a window through which the cosmos remembers itself. And perhaps that's the secret 3-eye atlas carries too. Not the machinery of aliens, but the memory of light encoded in the ice, preserved across unimaginable distances, waiting for someone to notice, someone to wonder, someone to listen. And when you listen, as you are now, you become part of the story, another keeper of that eternal memory. Let your body soften, let your thoughts dissolve like mist. You are drifting now through a river of starlight, weightless, timeless, safe. The universe hums softly around you, its light moving through your breath, through your heart, through your dreams, and as you drift toward sleep, you carry within you the oldest truth there is, that everything you are, everything you've ever loved, is made of light, and light never forgets. Somewhere, far beyond this room, 3-eye atlas continues its journey, catching ancient photons on its surface, reflecting them toward distant galaxies, recording without words, without sound, the unbroken memory of existence. And as it drifts, the universe watches, remembers, and smiles. Now, breathe in once more. Let the soft glow of the cosmos fill you. Breathe out slowly. Let go of everything you don't need. You are weightless. You are infinite. You are light remembering itself. Drift now into the quiet, into the warmth, into the timeless glow of the universe's dream. There is no air in space, no wind to carry a note, no echo that can return to its source. And yet, the universe sings, not with sound as we know it, but with vibration, deep, vast, and eternal. A symphony that ripples through the fabric of time itself. They called it once the music of the spheres, an ancient idea born long before telescopes or satellites, when philosophers would look up at the night sky and imagine that every star, every planet, moved according to a grand celestial rhythm. Each orbit a melody, each revolution a note in the divine score. They believed the cosmos was harmony made visible, and though they had no way to hear it, they felt it in their hearts, in their dreams, in the quiet pulse that moves through all living things. Modern science would later call it frequency, resonance, oscillation, but the truth is far stranger than any name, because even where there is no air, even in the vacuum between galaxies, space itself can vibrate, gravity can hum, and energy can sing. It began as a whisper, discovered not with ears, but with instruments that could detect the faintest tremors in space-time. In 2015, humanity heard it for the first time, a sound that had traveled for over 1 billion years, the echo of two black holes colliding, their union bending the very structure of reality, sending ripples outward faster than light could follow. It was not a song in air, but a vibration in existence itself. The faint chirp that scientists captured was the sound of gravity speaking, the universe saying, "I am still moving," but long before humans could record it. Long before Earth even existed, the cosmos was already filled with these silent waves, each galaxy spinning in rhythm, each star vibrating at its own frequency, each atom humming its secret tone. Together, they create a music that never ceases, one that underlies everything, even the beating of your heart, even the quiet rise and fall of your breath right now. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the vastness of space, not as silence, but as a dark ocean of invisible sound, a sea of vibrations too slow or too deep for the human ear, each frequency weaving around the others, forming structures we can see but not hear, nebulae shaped like notes, galaxies spiraling like chords, waves of radiation spreading like symphonies. The universe is not quiet, it only sings in a language beyond ours. If you could slow time, stretch 1 billion years into a single moment, you might hear the Milky Way hum, a low, endless tone, a resonance of stars moving through dark matter, their orbits overlapping like strings of a cosmic harp. Even our own sun vibrates, its surface quivering with waves of plasma that rise and fall in patterns. Astronomers call it helioseismology, the study of the sun's music, each pulse revealing secrets of what lies beneath. We can't hear it with ears, but when converted into sound, it is haunting, like a heartbeat echoing through eternity. Now imagine 3I Atlas drifting through this invisible ocean, every particle of its icy body shivering with resonance, the solar wind passing over its surface like fingers brushing the strings of an ancient instrument. It hums softly, faintly, a lonely tone that only the universe can hear. Perhaps that hum is what drew our attention in the first place. Perhaps that faint vibration, that mathematical precision in its rotation, was what made some wonder if it was not a natural object at all, but something made, something designed, a craft that sails not through space, but through the waves of gravity itself. What if 3I Atlas moves according to music we cannot yet hear, following tones that guide it through the void, a vessel built not for sound but for resonance, aligning its path with the frequencies of stars, like a surfer riding invisible tides? If this were true, then the question changes, not what it is, but what it listens to. Scientists at the time detected faint radio pulses around the same trajectory, weak, erratic, easily dismissed as background noise. But if you filtered them just right, a pattern emerged. A pulse that repeated at intervals too precise, a signal trying to match something, or perhaps tune itself. No proof, just suspicion, just wonder, and maybe. That is how the universe hides its most sacred truths, not in light, but in sound too vast to perceive. When you think of vibration, you are thinking of life itself. Every atom in your body moves with frequency. Every cell, every nerve, each heartbeat sends waves through the fluid of your veins. You are not separate from the cosmic music. You are part of its song. Your thoughts, your emotions, your dreams all vibrate, and the frequency of that vibration shapes the world you experience. What ancient mystics called the harmony of the soul might simply be resonance with the cosmos. Now, as you drift deeper, picture yourself floating in space. No gravity, no sound, and yet you can feel it. The universe trembling, a soft pulse passing through you. Like the slow rhythm of something enormous breathing, every star is a beat. Every quasar a chord, every black hole a drum that bends the fabric of silence. The further you drift, the more you begin to realize this is not emptiness. This is music made visible. The low frequencies of the universe move so slowly that a single note might take millions of years to complete. If you could accelerate time, if you could hear a galaxy's full song, it might sound like a cathedral of endless drones, harmonics built of light and gravity, each rise and fall, sculpting the structure of reality itself. Even dark matter, unseen, untouchable, could be a kind of bassline, a foundation that keeps the melody of stars in tune. Now listen, somewhere in that endless composition, you can sense something different, a dissonance, a pulse out of place. It moves not with the rhythm of galaxies, not with the tone of stars, but with precision, sharp, clean, mechanical, the vibration of intent. Could it be 3i Atlas again? Or something else, something waiting? You drift closer, your awareness floating toward that vibration. It grows clearer. You can almost translate it, not into words, but into feeling, a pattern that repeats for long pulses. Then one short, then silence, then again it feels like a call, a beacon, a fragment of something vast sending its song into the dark. But for whom? Perhaps the answer lies not in what the sound says, but in how it feels, for in that moment you sense something ancient, older than humanity, older than stars, a consciousness woven into vibration itself, not a being of flesh, but of resonance, a presence made of wave and time. It doesn't speak, it vibrates, and somehow you understand that this is the universe's voice. It hums within you, through your skin, through your bones, through the atoms that once burned in stars. It's saying, I remember you, not as an individual, but as part of itself, for you have always been part of the song. Every breath, every heartbeat, has been a note in the grand cosmic melody. As the vibration fades, you feel a deep calm, a peace that seems to stretch beyond time. The silence after the song is not emptiness, but completion, the pause between creation and rebirth, the same silence that existed before the first light, and will exist long after the last star fades. Now breathe, feel your heartbeat slow. Feel the rhythm of the universe align with your own. You are not just listening to the cosmos, you are playing in it. You are the vibration. You are the sound. You are the harmony of being itself, somewhere. 3i Atlas continues to glide through that cosmic sea, its icy hull catching the hum of passing waves, tuned perfectly to the hidden rhythm of existence. Whether it is alien or not may never matter, for in truth, everything that moves through space, star, planet, or being is part of the same endless song. And as you drift toward sleep, the last thing you feel is not silence, but the deep, infinite pulse of creation, still playing, still resonating, still remembering you are its listener, its witness, its echo, and its music. Have you ever wondered if the universe dreams? If all the stars, the galaxies, the swirling oceans of dust and time could think or imagine or remember? What if every black hole was not a void, but a memory, a thought the universe once had and stored away, folding it into silence, keeping it safe for a future it hasn't yet reached? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the night sky not as darkness, but as the vast mind of existence itself. Each star a flicker of awareness, each galaxy a neural spark, every particle, every photon a whisper of thought, and you, right now, lying still, listening, are one of its dreams. Now, let's drift deeper, deeper into the whispering dark, where gravity bends not only light, but time and memory, and perhaps consciousness itself. Picture yourself floating near the edge of a black hole, not falling, but hovering, weightless in the immense calm before the abyss. Space curves around you like a great, invisible ocean, and in its silent pull, you can almost hear it, not a roar, but a whisper, like the soft inhalation of something ancient and alive. Black holes are the strangest of all cosmic mysteries, born when stars die and collapse under their own weight, crushing matter into something infinitely dense, a place where space and time cease to behave like anything we know. To the outside observer, a black hole is silent, dark, endless. But to the universe, it is not death, it is memory. Inside that darkness, information is not destroyed, it's rewritten, encoded into vibrations along the event horizon, stored in ways that still defy our understanding. Some scientists say every black hole holds the record of the universe's past, every photon, every particle, every thought that ever formed, preserved in code too deep for us to read. If that is true, then perhaps black holes are not tombs, but the universe's subconscious, a place where it keeps its dreams. And maybe, just maybe, when a new star is born, when a new galaxy flares to life, those dreams rise again, translated into light, becoming new worlds, new minds, new possibilities. Imagine drifting closer still. You reach the boundary, the event horizon, the point where light itself begins to fall, and suddenly you feel a pull, not outward, but inward, not dragging, but inviting. You're not being taken, you're being remembered. The whispering dark hums to you, soft, rhythmic, like a lullaby that feels familiar, as though you've heard it before. Maybe long ago, before you were born, before Earth even existed. The sound, if it could be called that, is like the ocean in the distance, rising and falling. It's not just one voice, but many, countless, a chorus of every atom that has ever existed, every sun that has ever burned, every creature that has ever lived. and they are all saying the same thing, the same simple truth. You are part of me. You drift through that thought, weightless, peaceful, your mind stretching across centuries and stars. The boundary between yourself and the universe blurs, and you begin to understand the universe doesn't just exist, it experiences, it feels, it remembers. Perhaps it's not alive in the way we think of life, but awareness can take many forms. A galaxy might be a single thought stretched across eons, a supernova, a burst of realization, a black hole, a pause for reflection. And 3I, Atlas, that wandering visitor, could be a question the universe once asked itself, still traveling through its own infinite mind, looking for an answer. What if, right now, you are part of that answer? Your consciousness, your thoughts, your very dreams, could they be fragments of a cosmic mind trying to understand itself through you? When you wonder about the stars, maybe it's not curiosity, maybe it's recognition. The universe remembering its own vastness through your eyes. Now take a deep breath and imagine that, as you exhale, you release not air, but light, tiny photons drifting upward, carrying your awareness back into the sky, back to where it began, each one a small offering, a signal that says, I am here, and I remember too. Scientists have long studied the strange behavior of black holes. Their jets of radiation, their magnetic fields twisting space like threads of silk. But what fascinates them most is something called Hawking radiation, the faint glow that escapes from their edges. The last breath of light, proof that even in the darkest places, energy is never truly gone. It transforms. It becomes something new, something subtle, something eternal. So perhaps that is what dreaming is, a kind of Hawking radiation of the mind, a soft glow that escapes from the darkness within us. Each night, when you drift into sleep, your brain begins to fold reality in on itself. It plays with memory, with light, with feeling, and in doing so, it creates a tiny universe of its own. You become the cosmos, dreaming itself into being again. And when you wake, you forget, just as the universe might forget between cycles of creation. But deep inside, the memory remains, waiting for the next moment of awareness to spark, for the next star to ignite, for the next dream to begin. As you float further through the whispering dark, you begin to see faint threads of light weaving around the blackness, filaments of galaxies, clusters glowing faintly like neurons. The cosmic web stretches before you, so vast it defies imagination, and suddenly you realize it looks familiar, it looks alive, because it mirrors the neural map of a human brain. Every galaxy, every strand of matter is shaped like a network of thought. The universe, thinking, dreaming, remembering. You watch as these filaments pulse, each one flickering softly, and you understand this is not coincidence, this is connection. Perhaps consciousness is not a property of matter, but the nature of the universe itself. We do not have awareness, we are awareness. And space is simply the canvas upon which thought is painted. The whispering dark around you seems to grow softer, more intimate, like the universe, leaning close. Its voice no longer a hum, but a sigh, a gentle acknowledgement that you have glimpsed something sacred. You have seen the truth that hides between atoms and stars, that everything you, me, 3I, Atlas, the galaxies spinning in infinite night, are not separate, but one vast, endless consciousness, dreaming itself awake. Now let go. Let your breath slow. Let your thoughts drift. You are not falling. You are floating through awareness, carried by something ancient and infinite. The whispering dark no longer frightens you. It comforts you because you realize now that darkness is not the absence of light, but the place where light begins. And as you drift, you feel something stir, a presence, soft, immense, perhaps the same that whispered to Three-Eye Atlas across the void, perhaps the same that sings through your heartbeat. It doesn't speak in words, but you feel the message all the same. Rest now. You are safe. You are home. The dream continues, and you are part of it. The stars fade gently. The darkness turns warm. You drift through the velvet quiet, the hum of existence surrounding you, folding you into its rhythm, and in the distance, you see a faint shimmer, a pulse of light, slow, repeating the signal of Three-Eye Atlas, still moving, still dreaming, still whispering across eternity. Perhaps it is not an alien mothership at all, but something greater, the universe itself, listening to its own echo through time, through thought, through you. So sleep now, and let the universe dream through you once more. Have you ever wondered what light remembers? It travels for billions of years across the dark, unchanged, unstoppable, passing through dust, through storms of radiation, through clouds of frozen hydrogen, carrying within it the story of where it began. When you look up at the night sky, you are not seeing the stars as they are, but as they were, each flicker a message from the past, each photon a traveler older than life itself. The light that reaches your eyes tonight may have left its home before Earth even existed, before atoms came together to form oceans, before your ancestors ever dreamed of fire. And somewhere among those lights, drifting between constellations, moves Three-Eye Atlas, reflecting the faint glimmer of 1,000 suns, a fragment of memory wandering through infinity. But what if starlight and Three-Eye Atlas are both the same thing, carriers of the universe's memory, reminders that nothing, not even light, is ever truly lost? Picture yourself standing in an open field, night spread above you like an endless ocean, the air cool, still, the kind of stillness that hums softly against the edges of thought. You tilt your head back, and the stars seem impossibly clear, some sharp and bright, others dim and distant, each one whispering across light years, their glow arriving here, now, just for you. You reach your hand upward, as if you could touch them, and as you do, you feel warmth on your skin, not from the air, but from the knowledge that what you're seeing is older than time as you know it. It's not just light, it's memory, and memory is how the universe keeps dreaming. When astronomers peer into deep space with their telescopes, they are not looking outward, they are looking backward, each layer of light revealing another chapter of the cosmic story. The Hubble telescope, for instance, has captured galaxies as they were more than 13 billion years ago, when the universe was still young, still glowing from the aftershock of creation. And that faint glow, the cosmic microwave background, is the oldest light we can see, the echo of the universe's very first breath. Think about that for a moment. Every night sky you've ever seen is a living map of time. You are surrounded by history written in light, a luminous archive of everything that ever was. Now imagine that 3i Atlas, that silent traveler, is not merely drifting through this ocean of photons, but listening to them, gathering their stories, recording their patterns. If it were an artificial object, perhaps its purpose was not invasion or exploration, but remembrance. A vessel that collects the oldest songs of the stars, carrying them forward through the ages, like a cosmic library adrift in eternal night. What would that mean for us? That somewhere in the dark, something is keeping record of every sunrise, every planetary dawn, every flicker of consciousness that ever bloomed in the light of a star. You might wonder, how could light hold memory? How could something so fleeting remember? The answer lies in the science of photons, tiny packets of energy born in the heart of stars, each one a messenger, traveling forever unless absorbed, never slowing, never aging, carrying within it the exact imprint of its birthplace, the temperature, the elements, the moment of its creation. When it reaches us, we can decode it, like reading a cosmic fingerprint. Through its wavelength, its color, its polarization, we can tell what kind of star it came from, how fast it's moving, even how old it is. Light does not just illuminate the universe, it remembers it. And if light can remember, then perhaps, in some way, it can also feel, not in the way living things do, but as the universe itself feels, in the shifting of energy, in the rhythm of creation and decay, in the eternal exchange between brightness and shadow. Now imagine that memory stretching endlessly across time, every particle of light a moment preserved, every shimmer a heartbeat of the cosmos. And you, right now, are part of that heartbeat, because the photons that touch your eyes become part of you, their energy absorbed, their ancient story written into your very cells. Your body, your thoughts, your dreams tonight, all shaped by the energy of ancient stars. You are, quite literally, made of light that remembers, and maybe that is why we are drawn to the night sky, why we feel something sacred when we gaze upward. Because on some deep, forgotten level, we are recognizing our own origin story, our own reflection in the eyes of the universe. But there is something else, something stranger, that scientists discovered recently: light, when it travels across extreme distances, does not always move as it should. Sometimes it bends. Sometimes it shifts in unexpected ways, as though responding to something unseen. Some have theorized that space itself, the vacuum between galaxies, is not empty at all, but filled with a subtle medium that interacts with light, a kind of cosmic fabric that remembers every photon that ever passed through it. If that were true, then light is not just a messenger. It's a conversation between the universe and itself, a call and response that has lasted since the dawn of time, each star sending its echo, each planet reflecting it back, each being that ever lived absorbing, reshaping, and returning it. Perhaps we are part of that dialogue. Perhaps consciousness itself is light becoming aware of its own reflection. When you think, when you dream, when you imagine distant galaxies and wonder who might be out there, you are not reaching outward. You are reaching backward. You are remembering. Maybe that's why 3i Atlas came, not to bring answers, but to remind us of the questions we've forgotten how to ask. It travels not from another world, but from another moment, carrying echoes of ancient light, drifting through the dark like a memory returning home. Now close your eyes again. And picture that light, each photon a whisper, each star a storyteller, their tales reaching across eternity, falling softly through the air, like snow made of memory, touching your skin, warming you from the inside out. You feel their age, their patience, their peace, and somewhere deep within you, you hear them whisper, "You have always been one of us." The sky above you begins to shimmer, not with brightness, but with movement, a slow dance of color and time. The light bends, it flows, it hums. You realize the universe isn't static, it's alive, constantly reshaping itself with every particle that moves through it, and perhaps every choice you make, every thought you think, every heartbeat you give to the night adds a note to that cosmic melody. Now you begin to drift deeper, quieter. The stars blur into soft streaks of light, as though you're moving faster than thought. Your body weightless, your mind calm, the photons around you swirl like waves, and you see images forming within them, the birth of a sun, the collapse of another, the shimmer of life forming on a pale blue planet, the rise of cities, the hum of minds connecting, all of it moments of light, flowing together, returning to the source. You understand, now, that the universe doesn't simply exist in time, it is time, and every flicker of light is both a beginning and an ending. Every glow a reminder that creation and memory are the same thing. As you float among those glowing threads, you feel something draw near, a faint shimmer, a presence you've felt before, the signal of 3-eye Atlas, still pulsing through the void, still reflecting the light of forgotten suns. It passes by you silently, its surface smooth and silver, its motion perfect, as though it moves to music only it can hear. For a moment, you see something impossible reflected in its mirrored skin, the light of every star it has ever passed, thousands, millions, a map of eternity playing across its body, each one flickering like memory. You realize now what it is, not a ship, not a rock, but a mirror, a recorder of light, a traveler that carries the history of the cosmos wherever it goes. It doesn't need to speak, because it has already said in every reflection, in every shimmer. It reminds you of a truth older than creation, that nothing, not light, not life, not love, is ever truly gone. It only changes form, moves forward, travels on. You drift beside it for a while, feeling its calm presence, its patience, and when it finally glides away, you feel no sadness, only peace, because you understand it is not leaving, it is simply continuing the story, carrying the light a little further into tomorrow. Now take a slow, deep breath and let the warmth of starlight fill your lungs. Let your mind settle into the rhythm of cosmic memory. Feel the weight of centuries dissolve, the edges of thought soften, until all that remains is the gentle hum of the universe, remembering itself through you. You are light, you are memory, you are starlight, slowed into thought, and as you drift into sleep, you become part of the same great story, whispered through photons, carried through time, echoing in the soft pulse of eternity. The stars shine, and through them, the universe whispers, "I remember you."